hosting on Tuesday night when they do the New Year's thing. Not doing anything myself on New Year's. I'll be home, just probably watching the internet, waiting for the ball to drop in Times Square. And it's always 2 minutes delayed because it's the internet.
Yeah.
So the fireworks go off in my neighborhood before the ball ever shows, before the internet ever shows it dropping. Which has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about.
No, you always come up with great topics.
I have here...
And in between banter for you and I.
Now, this is what I wanted to say. We have made a reputation for ourselves of interviewing different people, and I would guess 80% or so are authors. I try to limit the amount of fiction authors, although we've had our share of them, some really great fiction authors. But the reason I do that is because you don't want to talk too much about a work of fiction.
No.
Right? Because a work of fiction, obviously, is a story that you want to unfold, and you don't want to give away too much in an interview. So so typically when we speak to a novelist, and we've had the unknowns, the self-published, as well as the Simon & Schusters and the Harper Row and Collins and the other big authors. But regardless, we treat it the same way. We are interested in the story, of course, but then we kind of focus on them, and it's kind of cool to get to know them. Debbie Macomber comes to mind because we got to know her pretty well. You actually became friends with some of them, including the guy who started the Benji series.
Joe Camp, he's wonderful. He's writing the Benji series, The Soul of the Horse. And he's got a new book out too, The Soul of the Horse.
Oh, does he?
Brand new book. So, he's really, he's a great guy.
And what that has to do with what we're going to talk about is I have quite a few friends on Facebook who live right here, who are listeners of this show, and who have written books. I've seen them posting, hey, I finished my book, or I'm ready to market my book, or anything like that. And if you're listening, we've got two things to tell you. First of all, let us know about it. We'll be glad to have you in here, as we do all of the authors. It's fun to have an author actually in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
Typically, they're on the phone, right?
Yeah.
But this is a new age, and for those of you who are have a Kindle for the first time because you got it for Christmas, you are part of the new world, and that new world is you're able to carry an entire library of books in something the size of a tablet, which is unheard of back once upon a time.
Oh, sure.
So that was one of the predictions of 2013 was that the Kindle would be the only surviving format, that the Nook by Barnes & Noble was going to go away. Not true. It is thriving, doing well. And that some of the other ebooks would go away. Not true. They're doing well as well. And some of the publishers, by the way, also developing their own ebook format so that it no longer has to be through Nook or Kindle. And there's a couple. iBook is another one through iTunes. I think that's what iBook is through. But iTunes has their own book thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, for those of you interested in publishing your book, and ebook is the way to go for you, then we've got some predictions for book publishing in 2014. And I say this with a disclaimer that last year the predictions were right, with the exception of the Nook. They predicted the Nook would go away. And it was absolutely wrong. The Nook, in fact, has done exceptionally well this year. All right, but I do have some predictions. And here we go. Publishers, this is what I hinted at a second ago. Publishers in 2014, and in fact, they've already started this, by the way, will create or simply license their own e-reading apps. So you have a phone, and you want to get a book from Simon & Schuster, let's say. You get the Simon & Schuster app. Boom. No third party necessary.
No, not at all.
Which is bad news for the third parties. It's bad news for the Amazon and the Barnes & Noble and the Books A Million. It's bad news for the bookstores in general. But the publishers sell directly to the readers, the customers. One is called Bluefire. Bluefire is what they call a white label e-reading app company, and they are gathering more and more clients as more companies want to engage with readers outside of the Amazon, Apple, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Those are the four big ones: Amazon, Apple, Barnes & Noble, which is the Nook, and Kobo. So that's what you're going to see a change in 2014. The good news for you, if you're an author, is that it means the opportunity for you to get your book into the hands of more people.
Yeah,
Instantly.
and that's pretty fascinating.
Instantly, right?
Yeah,
and
that's
more,
pretty
and as for
fascinating.
readers, it's more affordable. The book we were talking about last week, the 30-something Snap, is only $2.99, and Alan, the author, was offering it for free. He asked us to put that on our Facebook page, which I did.
Yeah.
Amazon will start playing nice with publishers, it says. In 2014, Amazon will start playing nice. The prediction directly contradicted other people who were making such predictions, saying Amazon's current relationship with publishers and its overall historical business practices have not always been the best, but the publisher had to go along with it because it was pretty much the best way to get the ebook out there. But now that the publishers are starting to develop their own, Amazon may be playing nice, and I guess that has to do with money. It says Amazon will begin to have an internal dialogue that playing hardball on content providers unleashes a backlash that will be unwelcome to them. And that's according to the digital media management consultant named Joe Esposito.
Okay, I wonder
Whoever
what
he is.
that exactly means. I'm not really sure. That's over my head.
Yeah, me too. It probably has to do with money more than anything else.
Because Amazon has such a vast array of choices on their site of all the different kinds of books. It's just amazing how many are on there, but from the independents to the well-known.
And it's interesting that they're not all there. We've had a couple of authors who say my book is exclusively on Nook, right? Or my book is exclusively on Amazon.
And that's the author's choice, right?
I don't know.
Can you?
I don't know who makes
Yeah.
that decision. In 2014, public libraries will increasingly buy access to large amounts of ebooks.
And ours is doing a good job of that.
The Ocala Marion County Library, yes, definitely does that. Currently, managing and growing a collection of ebooks doesn't make financial sense for some libraries. Many ebooks are expensive, and libraries cannot resell them like they can with physical books that they no longer need. With a large collection of ebooks, libraries can pay a flat fee for access to a large number of ebooks. The whole ebook phenomenon, the fact that you can take out a book from the library, I don't really know how this works. I know Lee Schwartz was telling us something about this,
Yeah.
but you would have to borrow it from the library only after somebody has returned it, even though there's no physical book.
Right, exactly.
And then you can only have it for what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, for 14 days, and then at 14 days, then it's gone.
But there's no late fee anymore because it just automatically disappears from your reader, from your
Right.
e-reader, right?
Right, during the designated time frame that it has to be returned.
But anyway, this year they say public libraries will start to have way more than they've had in the past simply because they're doing something else as far as the pricing. They're doing a one flat fee.
That is so amazing.
And there's another site that does this. They're calling it the Netflix of books. It's called Scribe or something. Scribe.
Okay, I don't know
Okay.
what that is. So
It says here there will be a huge growth in digital marketing for books. This is a trend we've already been seeing, as you know, Robin, because you've seen it. Many publishing companies who have beefed up considerably their digital marketing. Authors who play a huge role in all book marketing have been building their online platforms. We see it all the time. Every single day we have an author or two or three. We had one this morning. She's got her own website.
Right.
You can buy her book through her website, right?
and it's amazing. And you can interact with the authors, which is so cool.
So we're covering right now something that may be of interest to you as a reader, may be of interest to you if you're an author or an author in the works. Maybe you've got a book that you're working on. Publisher margins will be under pressure. Let's see what that means. This is another prediction for 2014. As Amazon gets even more powerful in the ebook and digital publishing industry, it could demand better margins from publishers, as it has with many of its other kinds of suppliers. Authors, too, knowing their importance to publishing companies, may demand higher royalties for their work.
Oh, okay. It is about the money.
I mean, currently, right now, I don't know this for a fact, but I think an author, typically a $20 book would earn $1 for the author. Mm-hmm. So $19 in a $20 book would go to everybody else involved. It would go to the retailer, it would go to the publisher, and the distributor, and everybody else involved.
Mm-hmm. Which makes sense, because they're all part of getting the book out to the public.
Right. So you write a book, you make $1 for every one sold.
Yeah.
You make, $500,000 if you sell 500,000 books.
And that's a lot more than recording artists made all those years ago when vinyl was being
Recording
sold.
artists, yeah.
And they
Recording artists made, let's see, I would say between a nickel and a quarter per album, per vinyl album back in those days.
Yeah,
I don't know what
that's,
the
unfair.
CD rate is, but somebody would spend between $6 and $10 for an album, and between a nickel and 25 cents is what would actually make it back to the artist.
Yeah, right. That didn't seem right.
But it added up. Huey Lewis was the one who said he made more money with that nickel when he had a major label than when he had his own independently released album, and he was making $4 or $5 per album. But of course, he sold more when he had a major label behind him. Same thing with the book publishers. Let's see. More publishers will start to sell ebooks directly to readers. This is something we've already been hinting at. Some publishers already do this, but they do it carefully because they don't want to upset Barnes & Noble and Amazon.
Oh, there
As
you
publishers become increasingly desperate to develop a more diverse array of trading partners, they may try to sell their wares directly to consumers.
Yeah, because Barnes & Noble and Amazon, that's where the consumers go. Because, the consumer knows they can trust those two sites and, find what they're looking for.
Right. When you get an ebook, by the way, do you prefer to turn the page left to right, or do you prefer to scroll down?
I like left to right.
Me too.
I enjoy that. But I tried them both ways, and I like left to right.
Yeah. Let's see. Some publishing in 2014 will continue to grow even as ebook sales at publishers stagnate. Now, what does that mean? In 2013, growth in ebook sales stagnated. That's what it says here. If you're only looking at sales by traditional publishers, it's impossible to know if self-published ebooks sales grew and by how much. The way self-publishing has taken off in the United States, it's easy to imagine that sales grew in 2013 and they'll continue to grow in 2014. One of the authors that we had as a guest was a self-published author. Let me see if I remember the story. And he sold 300,000, which is a small number by industry standards, but he kept 99 cents out of every one of those 300,000.
Right.
So he made whatever that is, almost $300,000.
Right, exactly. And he
was
happy.
Pretty happy, yes. I remember he was pretty happy with that number.
He was real happy with that number.
Amazon will be more social. Now, here's something interesting. Have you heard of Goodreads.com, the website?
Yes, you introduced me to that.
Goodreads. What I did not know is that Amazon bought it.
Oh.
Amazon now owns Goodreads, the largest book-focused social network. The move, which took place this year, 2013, was an attempt to shore up what is seen as Amazon's greatest weakness, which is social capabilities. So now you can go on Goodreads, read a book, like the 30-something Snap, for example, and recommend it to your friends, and then in essence help the publisher, the author, get the word out about the book, which means that the self-published author who participates in Goodreads can send a letter to all of his friends and say, hey, I got a new book, would you help me out, read it and get it going, which is what Alan is trying to do right now.
Yeah.
With his book. So
he's a really good writer.
All right,
He's got a lot of good reviews.
The next book, illustrated ebooks, will enter the market in greater numbers. The reason they haven't so far is because the costs have been prohibitive. This is a prediction that seems to contradict one other one that we made that seemed a lot more likely, that illustrated ebooks will be severely challenged. But the idea here is that publishers will realize that they need to produce illustrated ebooks at extremely low costs if they're going to be able to sell enough of them to make a profit. The technology will exist in 2014 for them to do that, and they will flood the market with inexpensive illustrated ebooks, which would mean, in my mind, that children's books on the tablet will probably become more commonplace.
Yeah, I have no clue how much a children's book costs for a tablet, because, when my kids were growing up, they love looking at the pictures and having the book read to them, or read the book to me, but they always look forward to the pictures.
I wonder if Stacy's book is on ebook. Let's see. Stacy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Stacy Rollins.
Yeah.
From the Hilton.
Let me look.
She's a great lady. She helps everybody in our community.
Let me look up Stacy. Stacy.
She does a great job.
A-C-E-Y? Stacy E-Y?
I think so, yeah.
All right, Stacy Collins.
Rollins.
Rollins, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, Stacy.
Yeah, she's a mover in our community.
Oh,
as
there
far
it
as
is. There's her
helping
book.
People.
No, I don't see it as an ebook right now.
Oh, okay.
I see it as a paperback. Her book is called Colorful, by the way. Stacey Van Rollins is what she's calling herself on her book cover.
Yep.
Good morning. You're on the air. Are you there? Oh, I guess I got to hit a button. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, Larry.
Hi, Ann.
Robin, I haven't called to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So I'm wishing you Merry Christmas first time for next year. But what I'm calling about is the other day when I came over, you graciously let me have as many books as I wanted. Well, one of them I took down to the library. I didn't know this. This was the Bellevue Library, and it's a book that was on their wish list, but they couldn't afford, so they were just thrilled to get
Oh,
the
great.
children's story. It's that
Wow.
one, like the cartoon drawings in it and everything.
Uh-huh.
It was a really nice book with a nice book jacket and everything. And Lee and the children's librarian were just thrilled because they had wished for that book.
Oh, that's
So
great.
I told them, well, it's compliments almost to WOCA, so I'm really glad that you do give out these books and that we can share them with other people, because I believe books will be here forever, at least for my forever.
Well,
Oh, gosh,
well,
Ann.
people who read books like you do are familiar with stories way before the moviegoers, because the movies all most of them come from books.
Yeah.
Right. Right now, we're listening to the audio of the Hunger Games, and there's so much more in there. And I realize they can't have everything in the movie, or you'd be there for 11 hours.
That's
Nobody
right,
should
yeah.
do that.
Yeah, right.
Okay, well, I just wanted to let you know that the library was just thrilled to get that
Oh, that's
book.
great. And you know what? This conversation also reminds us of the library itself. Just remember, when we talk about all these books, one of the comments that we get quite often is that these are really infomercials because these people are advertising their book. And I say, yeah, but the information is interesting,
Right.
and the books really are all in the library for the most part. Mm-hmm. So,
Because I get most of my books now from the library because I've got such a collection, and I'm going to give a lot of these away. So I just go there, and then every so often the book really touches me, and I just have to go out and buy it. I just want it. I don't know. I've always loved books, and I've always thought they were great gifts for children, adults, and older people, everyone. There's just nothing like having a book that you love, just to look at it and remember what you were doing maybe when you were reading it and everything. I love books.
Right, yeah. Well,
Okay, so I just want to thank you all and have a Happy New Year. And I was listening on Christmas, but my son was talking to a friend in South Africa for about 2 hours on the phone.
Oh, wow.
Couldn't get through because there was one song I wanted you to play if you could find it. Joshua Bell made a Christmas album, but I couldn't find the name of it. But I thought the violinist is classical music, and I don't even. I had the thing because I was going to go to Target or somewhere and see if I could buy that CD.
Right.
Because I don't have any of those things you can download.
Well, Ann, thank you for all you do with all of us, and maybe 2014 you'll keep winning gifts because you're one of our big winners.
Yes.
Oh, I know. My son keeps reminding me. I love it. You all are great. You're wonderful.
Thank you.
And I still can't believe I won all of that. But
Yeah.
I guess I did. Because another thing, I really was worried about how I was going to pay my electric bill, so I don't have to worry about that.
Oh, that's right. You won that too. That's right.
Oh, that was great. Everything was just great. You all are just wonderful. All of you, everybody there. You're so...
Well, we're nothing without listeners.
I love going to that Jingle Bell Ball. I just wanted to see Galen. I wanted to see his boys and everything. I was kind of disappointed I missed them.
You missed them.
But I did get to see you. Oh, I have to say one thing. My son, when we left there, he said, I can't believe he was as old as he said. He looks like he's in his 50s. So I want to make sure. I don't know if he was listening now, but I want him to know that my son said, my gosh, he looks so great. I thought he was in his 50s, which is what my son is, because he's not as old as I am, but he's...
and who was he referring to? Who was he talking
Galen?
to?
Was it Galen?
Oh, Galen?
No, you. I can't think of his last name. Linda's husband.
Oh, okay,
Hugh.
okay. Right,
yeah.
okay, yes.
Hugh. I say it wrong all the time.
Yeah, you got it. I got it now. All right, thank you.
You got it now. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'll let you get back to your show.
All right.
I'll be listening all day.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So there's only a couple more predictions for the publishing world, and then we've got some predictions really from Forbes magazine regarding the 2014 tax filing season. But let me just finish with this real quickly. Amazon will show a profit in 2014 as a prediction, and who knew that they weren't showing a profit? That's hard to believe.
Oh, yeah.
Amazon will continue to expand into publishing books. In other words, they will be their own publisher.
Oh.
That's something that's being predicted.
So the self-published authors can go there.
I have no idea what that means. Maybe not self-published. Maybe they'll just be acting as a publisher where you have to be accepted or signed up.
I see.
And then the shift to tablets and smartphones will have a negative effect on ebook sales. Let's see, more people are buying smartphones and tablets, and fewer people are buying e-readers. Research has shown that people who own e-readers and use them for reading tend to buy more ebooks than those who own tablets only and use them for e-reading. At the same time, someone who buys a tablet or a smartphone and didn't have one to begin with could be more apt to buy ebooks. My thinking is this, that the ebook phenomenon is going to simply replace the real book. So the numbers of readers probably won't increase necessarily. It'll just be that readers will decide to either maintain their habit of having a handheld book, or they'll go for the ebook. And I'll squeeze in one phone call before we change subjects. Good morning, you're on the air.
Hey, this is Jim from Anthony.
Hey, Jim.
We have the Appleton. Hello, Merry Christmas to you and Robin.
Thank you.
And all the people there. We have the Appleton and all the fabulous facilities there. But, our Marion County Public Library system is one of the greatest assets that our community has. They have fantastic employees. They have all kinds of services available there that many people are not even aware of.
Absolutely.
So I have been a holder of a library card for over 20 years here at the library, and I use it often. And I'm thankful we have it.
Thank you for saying that.
I encourage people to cruise by there and look at it. And I hope your prediction about ebooks taking over it does not come true, because I have a great respect for books, and they're just a different feeling about holding a real live book in your hand and looking at the jacket and the cover and all that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm with you. Those weren't my predictions. We were reading from an article, so.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
Thanks for the good job y'all do on the radio. You make a bright spot in our days every day.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you so much, Jim. Thank you for saying that. And I agree with you about the library. You're right. We have a great resource right there. I wouldn't want to see it go away.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jim.
I wish more people would utilize it. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And they have wonderfully free programs. In fact, tomorrow at 2 p.m. at the main headquarters of the Ocala Library is world-renowned magician Brian LaPalme.
That's right.
And it's a free performance. I mean, he breathes fire and does all that cool stuff, and he is world-renowned. So our library really brings in some top-drawer stuff.
And just a little warning, if you go to see Brian and he invites you to be on the stage with him to do a magic trick, be prepared. He might pull your underwear off of you.
That's right.
He did that to me, and I didn't even know I was wearing red underwear. Didn't even know it. All right, we've got to push forward. We'll take a little break, get some news, some weather, and then we're going to talk about the Forbes magazine predictions for the 2014 tax filing season and what you can expect. And they have a good prediction. They say it's going to be smoother than 2013 was. And that's all I know. I'll read you the rest of it when we get there. This is The Source, WOCA.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
ABC News Now. I'm Karen Chase. 2 Russian cosmonauts have begun a 7-hour spacewalk to install cameras outside the International Space Station so a Canadian TV station on the ground can watch what happens in space. Their spacesuits aren't the same ones American astronauts have been using. The family of a snowboarder killed in an avalanche in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, says the tragedy coming over the holidays is a reminder to all to cherish the time we have with loved ones. The 29-year-old man was the first down a slope and was buried almost immediately. Connecticut State Police say their final report on the Sandy Hook shooting will include thousands of pages of documents, texts, photos, and 911 calls. What's not clear is whether it'll shed any new light on the tragedy. UPS has apologized for being late with some packages promised for Christmas delivery, but the company says the guarantee does not apply to packages shipped after December 10th. More than 1 million people are about to lose long-term unemployment benefits. They expire this weekend. A South Carolina woman is accused of stabbing her fiancé in a dispute over their wedding color scheme. This is ABC News.
Gastric bypass surgery is dangerous. 1 in 200 dies. 70% suffer complications. 50% regain weight. Risky and expensive. But WOCA Labs invented the no surgery